Good morning, everyone. My name is Maria Winter, and I'll be taking you through Become a Stocktake Master this morning. I hope you all can hear me, and I'll go through all of the housekeeping to start with. So first thing, the duration of this webinar will be approximately 30 minutes. So my microphone is turned on, but yours has been muted. Your speakers must be turned on to hear the webinar, and any questions can be taken during or at the end of the webinar using your chat box. So what we're going to be covering today is how to complete a stock take, the best way to manage your professional stock, how to use shortcuts to complete your stock takes, and any tips to improve your ordering, receiving, and the best reports for the end of financial year as well. So I'm going to be running you through some demos, I guess, of the ideal process before you start to do your stock take and your ordering. So I guess the ideal situation would be, before you do, say, any stock takes or ordering, would be to update your professional stock by popping your professional stock back through shortcut system using what we call a stock bin. So in your salon, for all of your professional stock, you should ideally have a shelf or a bin where you can pop all your professional stock. So once your color tubes are empty or your wax trays are all empty, pop it in there, and then one of your staff members once or twice a week will then put it back through the shortcut system to update your stock levels. So that's the first thing I'm going to go into. Once we've gone through how to manage your professional stock, I'll then talk you through the product screen and give you some tips and tricks on how to manage that. I'll show you how to update your warning levels and your maximum and minimum levels. And then we're going to go through the process of an actual stock take. And then we'll go through ordering, receiving, and then we'll finish up on all of the reports. So I'll be showing you a stock take report, a professional stock usage report, and your stock on hand report for your end of financial year as well. So we'll get started, and the first thing we're going to do is manage professional stock. So obviously it's a huge impact on your business. You want to be making sure that you are keeping a track of how much stock your staff are using. So we're going to go through a demo of how to manage your professional stock. So I'm going to go into a shortcut system. And I'm going to talk you through the steps in here. So what you'll need to do is go to the right-hand side and go to point of sale. Once you're in point of sale, you want to go into business. So to find business, you just go to the left-hand side and select business. So you can double click on business or press done to the right. And I'm going to process all my professional stock through here. So any color tubes, any wax trays, any tints, anything that you use professionally, even down to cotton rounds or tissues. If you want to count all of that and count it towards your professional stock reports so you can track your consumables, you can definitely put it all through your system. So if you have a barcode scanner, you can simply start scanning at this point. If you don't have a scanner, you can simply click on a line, select business, and once you're in this screen, you've got your company, your line, and then your actual products. So what you can do is just go through company and then line, and then you can see the ones that have 0 will be your professional stock. So you can just select on those. However, if you have ran out of maybe a tester of, say, a brow wax, you might have had to use a retail, so that's fine as well. If I go to process that retail item through the stock bin, what will happen is it will still come through 0, so it's not going to be counted as, I guess, a sale as such, but it will be minused off your levels, and that item will count towards a professional product as well. So you can select it just like I did by selecting on a line, scan it through, or another tip is to press F3 on your keyboard. If you have a laptop, press Function F3, and then that will bring up your product search screen, and you can simply start typing in the name of the product, select on it, and then press done, and then it will bring it into the point of sale screen. So you can also use that for when you're retailing too. So it is the F3 key. Once you've got your items in here, if there is multiple, so if there's more than say one quantity, you can select on the quantity column here, and then you can select say on 3, or you can select on 2, and you can bump it up. If you've made a mistake and you've selected on the wrong item, you can simply just zero it off, just like you would in point of sale. If you need to bring any more in, you can keep selecting on them. Now down the bottom here, there's a few other things. So you can see what's on order, what you've got in stock. So I know a lot of products are quite similar in size or names. So a little tip for your staff members is get them to double check that they're cross-checking what's actually in stock. You can also change the quantity levels down the bottom as well. So you can see here I can actually bump up this body product to 2. Done, and then it will add it into there for me as well. So that's how you would go through and add your items in. Now these products here will now be, once I press end sale, will then be minus off my professional stock level. So I'm going to press end sale. And then if I go into the transaction screen, I can cross-check here what's actually gone through. So if you've given this task to your staff member, you can just cross-check what's actually gone through to ensure that they have actually selected the correct products. It will also show you the quantity here, so you can see that was ×3, ×2, and ×2 there. Beautiful. So that's how you would update your professional stock level. The next thing I'm going to show you is how to manage the product screen. So I'll take you back into shortcuts. So I'm going to go into stock and into the product screen. So this first screen that you come onto, you can see down the bottom left, I'm on the company in line. So the company is, for instance, Youngblood. I select on the plus sign, and that's the line. So the line would be like your brush, your brushes, your eye pencils, your lipstick, and then your foundations. Underneath that, I've then got the actual product, so the one with the red dot. To the right, I've got the price. So the buy price is my professional price, and then the sale price is the recommended retail price. It's all inclusive of your tax. You've then also got the average cost of the product, and then you've got your current levels here. So that's what you currently have in stock, and this is what I want to go through in here. So if you were to update your maximum, minimum, and warning levels, this is going to help you with your ordering process. So let's just say we'll do our liquid mineral foundations. So my top sellers, I would say, would be maybe like Shell, for instance, the retail. So let's just say I generally will sell 10 of those a month. And I do my orders, say, monthly. So I want to have 10 in my maximum. And how many do I minimum want to have on my shelves generally at all times? So let's just say I want to have 2. And then at what point do I want to receive a warning? I want to receive a warning before I get to my minimum. So I'm going to put that at 3. Now, let's just say if I had 5 in stock and I go to pre-populate in order, what's going to happen is it's going to pre-populate to order 5 of the foundations to reach my maximum of 10. So if you were to do this on like your main retail products, it's going to really help with your ordering as well. You can also update this accordingly, like depending on the time of year. So you know, when it's a little bit quiet at the start of the year, it might be completely different towards the end of the year when it's Christmas. And this all depends on how often you do your orders. So this is based on, say, monthly. I sell 10 of these a month. That's ideally the maximum I want to have. However, if you did your ordering fortnightly or weekly, I would then bump that down to, you know, half that, to like 5 or 6. The next one over is the barcode. So if you do manually add a new product in, you can double click and you can add the barcode in, so then you can scan it at point of sale. Now you can see here what's currently active. So if you do need to remove an item, if you no longer stock it or it's been discontinued, once you have removed all of the stock, you can just unactivate the item here. Now there is one more column that I think is really important to know that you have as well. You can right click anywhere along the top here and you've got all of these options. So you can actually tick on what you do want to see. So another one that I find really helpful is under properties and retail or professional. And then it will just be added on to the end. So if you're teaching staff how to add new products into your system, you want to ensure that this column here has been added in, because this is how they can change it from retail or, you know, to professional. So that's a little bit of an overview on your product screen. Now with every company, they do need to be assigned to a supplier. So if I select on Youngblood and I go down to details, you can see here the default supplier is selected in here. Before you add a new company in, the first step you need to do is go down to sort by supplier. You need to add the supplier in first. So to add a supplier in, you would press business and then press new, and then this will be your new supplier. Because I'm selected on it, I can then go down to details and then I can pop in my supplier's, you know, address. If I was to put in my supplier's email address in here, I can then email my orders straight to my supplier via email. It will be sent from my inbox because it synchronizes through your shortcut system, just like how your email receipts are sent through your inbox on your computer. The account number, so you can actually use this as your address book, so you can store your, you know, account number, your rep's details. So if you as like the manager or owner are on holidays, at least your staff will still have some sort of idea of who to contact if they do need to for any orders. So once you've got your supplier in there, you then go to company and line and you create your new company. So I select on business and then new, and then this is my new company, and then I select my default supplier and it's my new supplier that I select it to. Now from here I then create the line, so I select on new company and then new. This is my line, so this might be, say, shampoo, and then if I press new from there, this will then be my actual shampoo product, so purple shampoo as an example. Oops. And then from there I can put my buy price, so let's just say that's $10 professional, and then retail is $24.95. The GST is also inclusive. I can pop my current levels in. I've got my maximum, minimum here, and then I can scan in my barcode through there. So if it is a retail, it will scan through to point of sale. However, if they do have a tester or a professional product, I can select on new company and create a new line, and then this here might be my professional products or my tester. And then I just change it from retail to professional, and then it's just asking me, do I wish to continue? Yes. And then this will then be my actual professional product. So it might be like purple shampoo, and then I can put tester or professional next to it. And then it just goes on a slight angle so you do know the difference. And you won't put the sale price in, you just put in the buy price in here. And you can also put a barcode in for your testers as well. So that's your new company. You can have a retail line, you can have a professional line under the same company, and then don't forget to make sure you add the supplier first as well. So those are all the basics on the product screen. I hope that does help, I guess, just getting prepared for end of financial year stock takes. You just want to make sure, I guess, it is all set up correctly. So the next thing we're going to go through to is a stock take. So again, I'm going through the ideal motions of what the salon should be doing. So professional stock first, process your professional stock through the stock bin, then do a stock take, and then you're ready to do an order. So when should you do a stock take? It depends. So if you do an order, weekly, doing a stock take weekly is probably too hard. Won't happen. You guys are too busy. So even if you do a stock take fortnightly or monthly, especially on those main retail items, then you'll understand exactly how much retail you need to order. The reason why you need to do a stock take before you're ready to do an order is so you know exactly how much stock you have, so you're not going to under or over order. So you're all over your current levels. And then obviously, how do you prepare? Make sure all your levels are all correct. So by making sure you only have active the ones that you do stock, making sure you are processing professional stock through the stock bin, and then you'll be ready to start a stock take. So the next thing I'm going to show you is now how to complete a stock take from the very beginning. So I'm going to go back into the shortcuts program. So the first step is to go to the right under stock, and I'm going to go into stock take. Once I'm in stock take, you can see here any previous stock takes that have been completed, or maybe ones that have been started but they haven't been finalized. So any pending ones. If I try and add in whatever's in the pending one, it will not actually show up in the stock take. So double check to see if there's any active stock takes or pending stock takes before you start anything, because it will not allow you to select what's already in another stock take. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to delete that just so we can start fresh. So first step, stock take, and then I'm going to press new up the top right, and I'm going to write in my stock take name here. So I might just be doing maybe some retail items. And you can also select depending on who's helping you with the stock take. And just remember, you can scroll up and down. So depending on how many staff you have. So you can go up and down if you can't see your name. It's just all in alphabetical order there. So I'm doing Youngblood Retail. And then I'm going to press next down the bottom. And then it's taking me through to the stock take screen. I just have some questions, so I'm just going to go through and answer them for you. So I just have a question, where do you use F3 to search? Okay. So you only use F3 function button when you're in the point of sale screen. So F3 allows you to, if you have a laptop, you need to press function F3. But F3 is a quick product search. So it just allows you to bring up that product screen, and then you can just start typing in the first few letters of the product, and it will then come up. I hope that helps. Okay. So we're going to go into starting our stock take. So I'll go back into stock and stock take. And if I go back to previous, we've just popped in our description, who's responsible, and I've gone next. So now what I need to do is I need to add my items in. So up the top right, I can then start adding in my products. Now, sometimes what will happen is the sort by will go straight to supplier. Now, when that happens, sometimes that makes it a little bit harder because that is one long, big list of items. Whereas you might be used to going through and just seeing it from the company and then the actual line, and then underneath that is the product. So just make sure you're on sort by company and line if you find that easier. Some people love the supplier drop down, whatever's easier for you. So once we go to add our items in, if you were to press, say, Youngblood like that, that's actually going to select all of the Youngblood products underneath that company, which we know that is a lot. So please make sure you don't select just the company. What you need to do is click on the plus sign and click on the plus sign again, and you can actually go through and just individually add items, or if you need to add the whole line, you can just add the whole line like that, just by selecting brushes, and it will add it in. Now, the biggest tip here is to not press done. If I press done from here, it actually doesn't add my items in. So I have to go back in and then re-add them. So what you need to do is press add up the top right first and then done. And then you can see here, they're in my system. Now you can see here, I've got a tester and then I've got an actual product. It's also telling me the computer count. I think that's really cool to see as well, because if you are going through, your retail cupboards, or you're going through treatment rooms, anything like that, it's kind of good to see, okay, so ideally I should have 2, but I'm only finding 1. So that just means that staff member needs to keep looking for that product itself. So from here, you can't actually add any items in. You need to press start down the bottom right. And then it will ask you, would you like to activate the stock take? Then press yes. Now, if you need to walk around the salon, you can print the stock take forms as well. So from here, I guess the best ones are, the stock take form. And then I love to tick on the print shortcuts current levels as well. These 2 forms here aren't essential. The unlist items forms is a form for if you find something that's not on your stock take list. So it's just, I guess, another form to write notes on. And the next one down from that is the stock take maintenance form, which is another form if you find something that maybe is unusable, broken, discontinued. So if you're all about saving paper, I would recommend to just print off the stock take form and then the shortcuts current levels. So once you're happy with that, then you can press done and then it will print off. Now I'm actually ready to enter my stock in. So once I've gone around the salon, I've counted everything, I come back, I tally it up, and then I'm going to pop in my count into here. Now you can see here, I'm actually at -2 because maybe that was put through the stock bin and it was at 0. So now that's put me back -2. But I know that there's actually 0. Now, when it's not accurate, so when it's not the same, the count is not the same as the computer count, it's going to go red, I guess just to alert you. When you do that, you can actually choose a reason. Now, you can set up these reasons in configuration settings, which I'll show you after as well. So, discontinued, missing item, maybe we need to create a new one for, process through stock bin, because, or, miscount, something like that. So let's just say it's probably not one of those. So we can change that. And then the retail item, let's just say we do have 2, and then that just shows that it's equal. However, if I was to put 0 here and click off, it's showing a discrepancy. So it's just showing the red there. So from here, if if I choose, say, missing item, if I was to press finish down the bottom, it's going to ask me, are you sure you want to finish the stock take? So if I press yes, it's going to then ask me, would you like to perform a recount? So if you do have quite a large stock take, I would recommend you doing a recount. So what happens is if I press yes, I'm going to recount. If I press no, it will update my levels. So if I press yes to do a recount, I can then print off the stock take form just with the items that require a recount. So again, you can just print the form and then the levels, and then done, and then it will print out. And then what you would need to do is you go back out and then you go back in, and you can see it's on recount. Next, and then you would update the level. So you might just say that was 2, like that. For this reason though, I'm going to show you how to create the Stocktake Reasons, because it's so important to give your staff members, I guess, that opportunity just to let you know what happened with that stock. So from here, I'm just going to press done, which will save the stock take, but it will not complete it because we haven't pressed finish. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go into setup, configuration, and then I'm going to go down to general, down the bottom left, and I'm going to go all the way down the bottom to reasons. So you've got the tab up the top, stock take. These are the ones that are already in there. So I might just create a new one by pressing new, and then I might just pop in, maybe the stock take reason was, I'll just put professional maybe miscount or something like that. Save, and you can keep adding as many as you like as well. If you need to remove one, like if one's not active anymore, it's not something you don't want there, you can just select on it and then unactivate and press save, and it will go away. Cool, so that's just in setup, configuration, to the left to general, right down the bottom, and you've got reasons to the left hand side. Cool, so I'm going to go back into my stock. Now, sometimes it does require you to reboot shortcuts when you do make changes. So if it doesn't appear, just maybe exit out and then re-enter into shortcuts. If I go into my stock take, you can see here I'm still on recount. I'm then going to press next. And I'm just going to adjust that to my miscount here and press finish down the bottom. Are you sure you'd like to complete the stock take? It will update your levels. So press yes, and then it's updated my levels. So I can pop in done again, and then it will update according to count. Now, if you do want the staff to print any reports, you can print a report, but only print products that do have a variance. So the variance for this stock take will be the 0 here from the -2. And it will also display the reason as well. I'll go through all the reports at the end. So we'll keep moving forward. Cool. So I hope that gives you some tips and tricks on stock taking and to make it a little bit easier for you. The next thing we're going to move through to is ordering and receiving. So just, I guess, a few tips and tricks just to make, I guess, your life a little bit easier when ordering and receiving. So if you do have your maximum, minimum, and warning levels already in your system, that's obviously going to make it a lot easier for you. I guess the benefit of ordering through shortcuts is if you bring up an order through shortcuts, you can either do an order via the phone because you can print it. You can email it straight to the supplier if you put the email address in the supplier section in your product screen. It also keeps everything up to date. So as soon as you send the order and you receive it back through the system, it updates your stock for you as well once you press receive. It's also a really great way of keeping track too of what you've ordered. You can see, like, you know, if you're sticking to a certain amount, you can see the amount you're spending if you have targets. And it's also a really good way to, I guess, really keep an eye on, you know, wastage and things like that, and see what products, I guess, are popular through your system, through reporting. So I'll go back through and we'll go through to the order screen. So under stock, I've got ordering. The first thing you need to do is choose your supplier. So up the top, you can see here, you've got all of your suppliers here. So let's just say Pro Beauty Solutions as an example. I then press new. And then I can select whether it's, you know, standard, whether it's retail, professional, so all, or just retail or professional, or maybe if there's any promotional items as well. So let's just say all. Now, because I've put in my maximum levels, it's actually pre-populated to order these quantities for me, which is really cool. So if you were to do that on your most popular items, just like I showed you before, it will just make it so much easier for you. And then you can just simply, you know, verify and just cross-check you do need that amount for this time of the year. If you need to add more items into it, you can still manually update it as well. So you can go down the bottom left-hand side, and you can still add them in. Again, just making sure the sort by is not just on supplier, make sure it's on company and line, so it does then break it up into the lines itself. So if I look at my levels here, so it's ordered the baby kabuki 20. So it all depends on my maximum to my current. So it's going to order one of these, it's going to order 9 of these, 2 of these to reach my maximum, if that makes sense. So that's really cool. So if there is other products that this supplier I can order through, I can go in and then I can just add, you know, a few items as well. I can go into different lines. So I'm just clicking on the gray boxes to the left. And remember, don't press done from here, press add and then done. And then I can pop my quantities in by double clicking and then popping in the quantity. Now the main reason why we have a tick box to the right is so you can verify it, like just so you can double check, because it's so easy to, you know, instead of putting 1, you might put 10, or 2, you might end up putting 20. It's really easy to make a mistake. So it's just really cool just to have that option there. Then down the bottom, you've got order discount freight, which I'll show you how you can add that in when you receive the order. To the left here, you've got a notes section. So you can also write a note to the supplier. So you know how if you do want like bags or samples, that's where you can write it and it will actually display on the order right at the top left-hand side. So if you do want, you know, bags, mask brushes, samples, write it in there. If you have a client that's waiting for a particular product, you can press client and then you can search for the client and then press done. The client's name will not be sent with the order, but it will just stay on this order in the shortcuts program to remind you that she's waiting for that item. You can only have one client waiting in there, and then you can just keep a tab maybe on like a little notebook as well. So once you've got your quantities, you've verified it, you've selected if the client is waiting for an item, you've popped a note to the supplier, you can then press order. Do you wish to proceed with this order? So press yes. Now there's 2 options here. Do I want to email it? So press yes to email or press no to print. So if I press no, I can then bring it up on here for you so I can show you what it looks like. So I'll just find that one for you. Okay, so this is what the stock order will look like. So you can see here, stock order, the supplier is Pro Beauty Solutions. This will have their address here. This will be your business with your logo. You can also have your supplier's logo here. Now this is where your note will be. So if you do want to write, I need these samples, it will show up there. And you can see the client's name did not transfer back to the supplier, which is good. It will have an order number, the order date, and then it will go through and tell the supplier exactly what you want to order, the quantity, the total, and then the total value down the bottom there. So if you don't want to email it through, that's totally fine. Just press no and it will print it. Then you can still do your phone orders. You can still order online. But the great thing is you've brought it through the system. So then once you receive the stock, you can receive it through your shortcuts program, so it updates your levels as well. Cool. So if I go back into shortcuts now, so that order has been sent off. Let's just say we're now ready to receive it. So if I'm ready to receive it, I'm going to go to stock, ordering, and you can see here there is 3 outstanding orders. The great thing about that is if you do send out a few orders on the same date or around the same time, you can see the date here. You can also view with the amounts here. So that's all under outstanding. So any orders that you're waiting on. You've also got orders that you've received. So you can cross-check invoices as well. And it's really cool because if you've forgotten that you've sent an order and you've totally lost track of it, it's been a few weeks, you can actually say, hey, I've ordered that stock on this date. It's been 2 weeks. What's happened to it? So I'm going to go on to our Monday the 18th one. At the moment too, you can have it on all, so it shows all. Otherwise, if you do have it on just the one supplier, that doesn't affect what displays here. That there is only if you're going to create a new order. Okay, so if I select on that one, I press receive. The first thing I need to do is pop my invoice number up the top, up here. That's a great way for you to reference later. You can then just verify that that's what you've ordered. Now, let's just say they were out of stock of this one. If I change that to 0, it's going to ask me, do I want to put 2 on back order? Now, some suppliers will do back orders, some suppliers won't, so just double check. But if you do have suppliers that do back orders, then you can press yes. If not, press no. So I will show you what it looks like when it goes to back order. So it receives nothing today, but it's on a separate order. And then if I verify that, I can put in my discount. So if I get any sort of discount, like maybe I got 5% off because I spent over a certain amount, it will then minus that off for me, so $15. And then my freight here, let's just say I got charged $10. So I'm just selecting on the dark boxes here to add that in. Then that will add up and your total order here should match what your invoice has. Once I've completed all of those steps, I then can press receive. Are you sure you want to proceed with receiving this order? So press yes. And then you can see here the order has been received successfully. Now you can see here there's still something sitting here, and that's my back order. So I can select on the 18th, press receive, and my 2 items will be there until my supplier sends the rest to me. So you only do that if they do back orders. Otherwise, they normally just say, oh, we'll let you know once it's back in, and then just reorder it, whatever's easier for you. So now that I've received that order, it's going to be sitting in here under receive, so I can always cross-check it. I can select on my order and then press view, and I can go back and cross-check. Beautiful. So that's everything on ordering and receiving. The next thing we're going to move through to is the last part of the webinar, which is reports. So this is, I guess, the most important part for you all. So I'm going to go through the top 3 reports. So Stocktake report, professional usage report, and the most important for end of financial year, which is called stock control report in shortcuts. And you'll know that is your stock on hand report. Okay, so where to go? So you go over to the right hand side to tools, then you go up the top to reports. Now all of the categories will be to the left. So I'm going to go into stock and I'm going to open it up by pressing on the plus sign, and all your reports will be listed here. So starting with Stocktake report, once you select on any of these reports, you'll notice to the right, there's a description. So if you ever get stuck, always reference to your description as well. So this Stocktake report will list the differences that have been found, like variances on the recorded levels with the Stocktake. So if I go down to view, you'll be able to see all of our stocktakes that we have performed, and it will have the date. So the one today was the 18th, and we started at this time and we finished at this time. So you can actually see how long it took your staff members to complete a stocktake. So if I go down, select that one, and I press view, it's going to show me here recorded account, actual count, and the variance. So it has the company, it has the line, and then it has the product. So you can see the total, and if there's a variance, you'll be able to see the minus here. And because I added my reason in, you can see here it's added it in here. So that's a really good thing for the staff to be able to have, just so you can keep a tabs, if products are missing, or maybe they're just not counting all the cupboards, they're missing things. So if you give them that option to pop a reason in, then you can backtrack from there. You can export this report, you can print it. So if you go to export, you can export it as a PDF. If you need to email it through to someone, the stock control for your stock on hand report, you will have to export it and send it off for tax time. So export into a PDF, save it on your computer, and then attach it in an email. The next report I'm going to show you is your professional stock usage. So professional stock usage is a total breakdown of all the products you have used, as long as you've put them through under business in your shortcuts program. So if I select on that one and then I press view, I can select a date range. So you might want to monitor this maybe monthly, every 3 months, quarterly, yearly. It's a really great way to see how much stock you've used, the cost of it, versus how many services you've done. So you can see, if your staff are maybe being too heavy-handed with the amount of shampoo or, cleansers they're using. So if I go to range, let's just say I want to see how we've done for June so far. I'm going to press from the 1st to the 18th. So that's the date range. You can also just choose specific companies if you would like as well. And then you can also display the logos as well. So that's just your company logos. So from here, I'm going to press view. And you can see here the date period. It will have the company, the line, and then the product. And it will have the total of what you've used professionally in that time period. So such a good report. Again, you can print it off to show your team. You can export it if you need to email it to someone. But yeah, it's a great way to keep tabs of, I guess, what your consumables of your stock is costing. Lucky but last, this is for end of financial year, so the most important one. So you'll know this as stock on hand report, but under shortcuts it's called stock control report. So what you need to do is at the end of the day on the 30th of June, you'll need to run this report to send it off. So you come into stock control report, press view, You don't need to press a date because the 30th of June will pop up once you run it on that day. You then press view and you'll be able to see the value on hand you have for that financial year will be the total up here. And then you'll just press export. Just make sure it's on PDF and then save it on your computer and then email it off to whoever you need to email it to, ready for end of financial year. So again, that one is just called Stock Control Report to display your stock on hand. Beautiful. Well, I hope you enjoyed the webinar today. So today you learned how to manage professional stock usage, how to use your shortcut software to do all your stock takes, and some tips and tricks for ordering and receiving. And you also learned the top 3 reports to help with the end of financial year stock taking. Beautiful. So now it's question time. So if you do have any questions, please feel free to send them through now. Otherwise, you can email them through to our education inbox if you don't have time. So I'll just see if anyone's sent any questions. So Sharon asked a question about which report shows shrinkage. So for shrinkage, because shrinkage is all about, I guess, products that are going missing, I guess movement of products, I guess. So Stocktake report would be a good one because you can see and you can get your staff to choose those reasons, whether the product's gone missing, discontinued. So I'll show you that one again, and I might just show you a few other, like, I guess, stock reports. So if we go into some stock reports, so for, I guess, stock shrinkage, you could go again into Stocktake report, which will show you the variances. If you do want to see things that have gone missing, you do need to create that Stocktake reason. So if I go back into the one we just completed, so you can see here to the right the reason. So if you do need to see, it's gone missing, it's miscounted, because I guess it's all about seeing where those products have gone. So that's the best report. But I guess to see the difference, you do need to perform regular stock takes to ensure you know what's happening with all of your stock. I hope that helps, Sharon. Cool. Another question is auto compute. So Nicholas asked about auto compute for stocks. So in the stock screen, you've got, if I go through the motions again, and I press new, you can see here you can auto compute it. So if I choose, if I put in some levels maybe into professional. Okay, so if I put in some levels into here, it will auto compute. So if I have, say, 10 here, it will auto populate for my current levels to reach my maximum. So if I need to hit my maximum of 10, it's going to auto populate 8. If I, again, 8 here, it's going to auto populate 7 of these to reach my maximum of 10. But when you do change these though, you will probably need to exit out of shortcuts. So if I make these all, let's say 10, and my minimum is, say, 3, I'll just keep them all simple for you. Like that. I press done. Now I may need to exit out. So if I press exit, and I'll just reopen it really quickly. So yeah, with some changes, just make sure you exit out to resynchronize it if you do notice it's not coming through. Okay, so if I go through to do an order and I choose Pro Beauty Solutions, new, and I go all, because I've just put my levels in of 10, it's pre-populated to order 8, because a lot of them had only 2 in stock. So you need to pop your maximum and minimum levels in for this to work. So I hope that answers that question. And another question was the statistics calculator. So you need to be using shortcuts for a good few months, because of what happens is it populates on, I guess, your average sales. So if we go into here, you can go into the calculator and you can choose, if you just want to look at, say, one company, you can choose all lines, and you can generate and compute to review and analyze that specific date range. So basically, once you do reach it, it will tell you, I guess, an ideal order level based on your sales. So it'll work out, I guess, an average for that period. So it's just an automatic way of doing it. So if I was to press compute, the statistics calculator is in progress, please wait until complete, and then just press done. But because this is a demo system, it may not bring up a level, but I guess ideally it will generate the reorder quantity, so it will replenish. But yeah, just make sure you do have your minimum and maximums in here, because that will just automatically auto-populate. The statistics calculator is just working out that average based on your sales history for you. Beautiful. Well, I hope that answers those few questions. If you do have any other questions, please feel free to email myself or the whole education team at education@shortcuts.com.au. If you have any technical questions, we've got our help desk as well, and you can contact them on 1300 667 374. And we've also got some really awesome videos on our website. So if you haven't seen them, I'll just quickly show you. So on our website, we've got support. We've got the Learning Center. So depending on what program you have, majority of people will have Fusion. So if I go into Shortcuts Fusion, all of the videos are all in here. So all these videos are on Appointment Book. Everything I've covered today will be in Stock Management, and you can watch any of these videos, and they're only about 2 to 5 minutes. So I hope you've enjoyed your Stocktake webinar today, and I hope you feel like you are the master now and you're all ready for the end of financial year. Hope you all have a good day, and thanks for listening today.